participate in our online polls, questions, ask questions, use menti.com, enter that code. Currently, I think 26 so far, 27. Try that heart button so we can see how many are in Menti. So we're just waiting for Alan Devanesh of Dapt Choice. There you go. There you go, Alan.
Hello.
There you go, Alan.
Hi.
Hi. Good afternoon. All right, everyone. So good morning and welcome to
Afternoon.
afternoon. Dire-diretso, wala pang tigil. So, good afternoon and welcome to the PM session of our SP101 Learners Meet. We had a very good 2-hour session morning. Hopefully, we won't run over kasi may meeting ako ng 3 o'clock. Lagot ako sa boss ko. So again, for those who want to join in the polls and ask questions, you can go to menti.com, enter the code 340838 there. Or if you're not able to join, go into the chat box in Google Meet. There's a link that Ingrid posted for a document where you can post your questions and feedback as well. Again, thank you very much for joining. Before we officially start, I'll turn it over first to Alan De Venecia of the Development Academy of the Philippines for a short announcement. Alan, you can take over presenting.
Can you guys see?
Yes, we can. It's loading.
Wait lang. So good afternoon, SPARTA learners. I'm Alan De Venecia from the DAP. I'm actually the supervising fellow for this program. So during the past 2 weeks, I've been consulting with Fisher regarding a call for proposals for 2020. As you very well know, this is being funded by the DOST and being monitored by its sectoral council, which is yung PISHER, Philippine Council for Industry, Energy, and Emerging Technology Research and Development. So one of their main features every year is that they call actually for proposals being submitted by researchers. No? They come from various institutions, state universities, from local government units, from national government units. And what is unique this year is that they've dedicated a certain call for proposal for data science that is open exclusively for our SPARTA trainees. So this exclusive call, which is open to all of you, and it's going to be housed under the Good Governance through Data Science and Support System program, Goddess, which is where SPARTA resides also. So what it aims is to develop appropriate capabilities, systems, and technologies geared towards the LGU and the national government agencies so that they can adopt data-driven governance or evidence-based management. So it's aligned to what Sparta is espousing. No? So what we need is actually proposals from researchers such as yourself if you are interested. Um, but it should benefit a certain LGU or national government agency. So if you are part of the LGU or NGA, you will not need to take a letter of commitment from the LGU or NGA. But if you are from the private sector or from other agencies, not LGU or NGA, you will need to locate a beneficiary LGU or NGA of your research agenda. No? Tapos dapat yung mga LGU or NGA should have a commitment that they will adopt the research or the product development that you will be doing. So the submissions is actually on May 31, but we're opening now the call. It was actually as early as March nag-call na ang DOST for proposals. But we are here to help you materialize those proposals. The possible themes that they're looking for are the following. So, andyan yung urban mobility, energy management, e-governance and citizen services, waste management and water management, and others, of course. I will give you a link later on kung saan makikita yung mga agenda or yung mga main themes ng PSHARE this year. But basically, it should have something to do with data science and analytics. May it be an app, an IoT system to collect data, algorithms or researches. No? Marami ngayon ang napupunta sa COVID pandemic applications, grants actually na repurpose for COVID-19. Yun yung mga nakikita nyo ngayon online that this DOST has been championing. But of course, post-pandemic, we have to still look for other researches na possible. So these are the themes. Pwede pang, it's not limited to this, but yan yung kanilang binigay na possible things that our researchers can look into. So here are the links. I will give a copy of this sa organizer so that the participants can go and have a look at it. Me myself have been part of numerous implementations of the OSTP Shared program, so you can email me directly if you have any query on how to craft these proposals. It can be done in teams or individual capacity, and then you just augment it through the research grant. No? I've heard from my last meeting that ang in-expedite are 2-3 million peso grants. So if you can qualify for that, we'll be happy to help you, craft those proposals up to May 15 and May 31 yung submissions. So online na yung submission nila. It's at dpmis.dos.gov.ph. But what we usually do is pag nakuha na namin yung draft proposal, we consult it with the internal PSHARE team for clarifications or for possibility kung may kailangan pang clearer direction yung proposal that you have drafted. So feel free to email us. Ano pa ba? Yes, I discussed a while ago na sa SPARTA, we're actually looking at different modalities for the learner's completion of its capstone. So although yung mga courses later on will have the generic capstone at the end, these researches and the hackathons are actually geared towards crediting as part of your capstone in lieu of what is in the course. So it's good siguro that later on you'll participate more on these research agendas that we're trying to build for the ecosystem so that you can practice yung matututunan nyo. And of course, it's gonna benefit the community as a whole. So I will end there and I will give it back to Sherwin. But if you have any question regarding this call, please feel free to email me, and itong PowerPoint we will share it also. So Sherwin, okay na ako.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Alan.
Just a quick one. I think members of PSHARE will also be joining this afternoon session. I think Glenda said she will join. So if she is around, she can also um, answer some of the queries that the learners might have also.
All right, thank you, Alan. So
Thank you, sure.
yeah, just to uh, let me see if I'm screen is there again. Okay. So just like what Alan mentioned, Sparta is not just espousing some online training through course bank, but we've really designed this to have ways for you to apply what you're going to learn and learn additional things. So we do have these sessions, the learners meet. We have the hackathons and then projects that you can actually work with your LGUs. So this is going to give you, projects part that we want you to really give you a holistic sense of, just not adding knowledge or for you to learn, but also to experience what you're going to learn in your pathways. So again, good afternoon for those who have just recently joined. There is we are using menti.com for online questions and polls. There's actually quizzes, at the during the course of the presentation. If you're not able to use Menti, there is a link to shared documents that is posted by Ingrid in the chat room, where you can also post your questions and feedback. Okay, so um, my name is Sherwin Pelayo. I hope you've seen me in SP101. Contrary to popular belief, SP101 does not mean Sherwin Pelayo 101. In Sparta 101, nagkataon lang na yun yung initials ko. I am the analytics practice lead at Teradata in the Asia Pacific region. I also teach at the University of Asia and the Pacific on their Masters in Applied Business Analytics program. I'm also one of the board members of the Analytics Association of the Philippines. So as you know, AAP is one of the proponents together with DOST, PSHERD, DAP, and Course Bank in creating Project Sparta. So thank you for all of the hearts. I appreciate the love, especially during these times. Okay, so just for us to get familiar with Menti, and for those who have and opened their browsers, let's try to use that. Get to know who are here today. I'd like to know if you are a senior high school student, an undergraduate student, are you from the academe, whether you are an educator, a faculty, and a member of the university administration, are you from the government, from the public sector, or if not any of those, you're from the private sector. Okay. So again, you can open a browser on your phone, go to menti.com, use the code 340838, or open a new browser on your computer. Again, open menti.com, use the code 340838. So we have 33 respondents for now. We have 89 in the call. Let's get some more feedback. Let's get some people get used to using Menti. At the end of this, there's actually a quiz all throughout. We'll get the top 10 and see how you can reward for participating in the poll, in the quizzes. Okay, so definitely, as expected, majority are in the private sector. Uh, we have a good number of undergraduate students. Good, cool. So let's keep this. If you hit 50, okay, we can move on. There you go. See, I think there's still somewhere joining. All right. Okay, so again, most from the private sector, good number, still undergraduate students. Okay, next question. Again, go to your phones or in your browser, new browser. Let me know, where are you in SP101? Are you just about to start? Are you in week one, two, three, four, five? Are you done? Good. So we have people from various stages in SP 101. You're still done? Okay. I think let's move on. Okay, so why do we actually have this learners meet? So again, when we designed Project Sparta, we knew that it wasn't really just going to be purely online learning. We want a lot of interaction with the learners, the Spartans, and the subject matter experts and the other proponents of Project Sparta. So we are going to reinforce learning. So I saw some of you are not yet actually starting SP101. Some of you are in the middle of it. A lot of you are actually done. That is good. So for those who haven't completed, this is probably going to be quite fast for you. We are not definitely going into the details of what you will be learning in SP 101. But I mean, if you're really just interested on what is being discussed in SP 101, this is going to be kind of a good overview for you as well. There are some new topics that we'll be discussing here. These are topics that did not actually gone into the course. So that's going to be a continued initiative for us. If there's going to be any updates on any of the courses, we're going to call live conferences such as this so that you will have the benefit of getting those additional knowledge without retaking the course. We'll also give more examples, during these online conferences. Lastly, want to answer some content-related questions. The questions that you entered during the registration uh, process, it's already here. We'll try to answer some of your questions that you put in Menti or in the link that Ingrid provided in the chat room as well. There are some, of course, you can still continue asking questions in the discussion boards, but this is going to be a good opportunity for you to ask those questions live. And hopefully we can answer. We'll have time at the end to answer all of those questions. Okay? So, as you know, just a recap, getting grounded on analytics has three objectives. We want you to be familiar with all the analytics job families, the data value chain, and what analytics is. We want to give you kind of a framework as a practitioner or an aspiring analytics professional on what are the skills that you need to develop to find your value in analytics. As I've been saying all along, everyone has a role in analytics. We might not know it, but we are actually doing analytics every day in our lives. If you want to pursue a career in analytics, SB101 is going to provide you with that competency framework. We also want to help your organizations to be analytically mature. We are going to give you the components that need to be assessed for an organization to progress in their own analytics maturity. So we're introducing an organizational maturity model as well for organizations. Lastly, this is actually a call for everyone to start enabling the analytics ecosystem of the Philippines. If there's one thing that I'd like everyone to take out in the entire Sparta, we are doing this for the good of society, for the greater good, for the Philippines. Just looking into the current situation, had we been more data driven, we probably, address a lot of the challenges that we are facing right now. So these are the three main objectives of SP 101. Okay. So what we're going to do is go to week by week. I'll be emphasizing the key learning points in there. Provide additional learnings if there are. I'll also want to test you in what you've learned so far. For those who haven't actually started or are still in the middle, try to guess. I mean, hopefully these are some of them are self-explanatory the quizzes. Okay. Again, we're going to get a top 10 at the end. See how we can reward you for participating in the polls. Okay, so let's start with week one. For week one, this is one of the key things that I'd like for everyone to know. This is the data value chain, meaning this is what really analytics does, transforming data to information, basically a description of what's currently happening right now, going to insights, answering the questions, why things happened, what will happen next, and then going to imperatives. These are actionable insights. We don't stop at insights. We want organizations to act on the insights that we are going to gather. Apart from this data value chain, we've identified also 5 analytics job families. The data steward, the data engineer, the analytics manager, the functional analyst, and the data scientists. So each of these analytics roles perform a different function, and you can actually be any one of these in any analytics project. Okay, so let's start with the quiz. So first thing, input your names. If you want to participate in the quiz, again, if you want to join, go to menti.com, enter 340838 in your phone or in your browser. There are 50 participants so far. Once you start the quiz, you won't be able to join. So if you really want to join, give you some couple of minutes to join. We have 91 in the call. We have 60. Well, that's this. So there are multiple choice questions. There are true or false questions. There are fill in the blank questions. For fill in the blanks, unfortunately, you have to get the right spelling. Okay. We don't have AI right now to correct spellings. Okay, couple more seconds. See if there are any others who's going to join. We have 6. That's a good number. 6-3. Oh, nabawasan pa. Oh, bumalik. 6-3. And you need to be fast. Okay. Higher points are awarded for correct, fast responses. So during the quizzes, go to your phones or in the browser where you have Menti, because that's where you're going to key in your answers. Okay, let's start the quiz. So these are lessons from week 1. Wow. Okay, let's do that. So let's do the first question for week 1. So among the 5 who utilize data and use the derived insights to help organizations make better decisions, go to your phone or the Menti browser, select. I actually have 10 seconds. That's very fast. Okay, so correct answer is functional analyst. So again, picture the data value chain. The functional analysts are right there in the imperatives because they are the ones using the insights derived by the data scientists. So it's the functional analysts who will help organizations make better decisions. Okay, next question. So another who question. So who is responsible to finding the trends and the patterns from pieces of information? Who among the 5? 3 seconds, 2 seconds. It's very fast. Okay, data scientist. So again, data scientist starts when the information is there. So they're the ones creating those insights. They're the ones who find the trends and the patterns from those pieces of information that were consolidated in a single repository. So they do the diagnostic, the why did this happen, and the predictive what could happen next. Okay, next question. Again, a who question. Now, who is actually the one bringing those data together, do the extract, clean, transform, and load? So who is that dun sa information side naman? Okay, correct answer. The data engineers. They are the ones with the programming background, the information, computer science background, and they do ETL, extract, transform, load. So data warehousing, that's their forte. So before data scientists can create insights, the data engineers will have to put all of this data in a single repository. Okay? Next question. This talks about data governance. Naman. Who does that? Who ensures secure and ethical use of data? Without them, you won't get your data. You have to go through them. They are the keepers of data. Okay, they are the data stewards. They are the guardians of your data. They will not give you the data unless they are sure that you will protect the data and will ensure ethical use of data as well. So nandun siya sa start, the very first, the start of the value chain. Nasa data side siya. Last, so this person actually brings the team together, okay, and ensure the successful delivery of analytics projects. Okay, sino siya sa analytics families? Okay, definitely the analytics managers. Key competency in analytics managers is project management. So he or she has the skill to bring all of these people together to ensure the successful delivery of analytics projects. So again, going back, one of the key things in week one is the data value chain. You know who performs what. They're very roles. You can actually do searches in Google, analytics job roles, analytics job titles. There's going to be a lot. But what we're saying is that you can actually categorize and classify those roles into these five. They have distinct roles and distinct competencies to perform their roles. Okay. One other thing that we'd like to add in SP101 is this. We didn't actually really discuss this. Okay, we are in the digital transformation age, the digital age, and a key enabler of digital transformation is data. Not just data, but big data. Analytics has been there for a very long time, but because of technology and because of big data, lalo pa siyang umangat ngayon, nasa forefront na ngayon ang analytics. For data to be categorized as big data, there's 4 V's, parang 4 characteristics. Actually, there's more. If you do a Google search, there's a lot of V's, pero nagsimula yan sa 4 V's of big data. First one, volume. Definitely, if you look big data, kaya nga by definition big, you're talking about huge amounts of data, volume. Second is veracity. Alam naman natin, proliferation of fake news. So that's about veracity. When we talk about veracity, how reliable is the data that we are getting? How can we separate truth, the fact versus fake data? That's the second characteristic of big data. You need to know it has both true and false information, so you need to know which is which. Third characteristic is velocity. Now, when we talk about velocity, 2 things. How fast data is generated. So that's the first thing. In Facebook alone or in Twitter, every millisecond, ang daming bagong data na generate. How many clicks, how many likes, how many posts are generated in social media. That's how fast, data is generated. For automated vehicles, for example, every millisecond, ang daming information na nakikreate. Bawat galaw ng vehicle, or even in the plane, yung black box, every millisecond, nakikreate kaagad yung data, any movement on any vehicle. Stock prices, ang bilis magbago ng prices ng mga stocks. So that's one aspect ng velocity, how fast data is created, generated. The second is how fast data is processed and goes to the intended audience. So minsan kakapost mo pa lang sa Facebook, nag-viral na kaagad. Okay? The concept of being viral, it's a concept of data velocity. Okay? Even again, going back to the stock prices, if you are a day trader and you want to maximize your investments, talagang tututukan mo yung yung stocks, yung prices ng stocks, so you would know if you're going to buy and sell. So again, when you talk about velocity, speed by which data is generated or created, and the speed by which it gets processed. Okay? The last type is variety. It's not just anymore structured. Pag sinabi natin structured, when you fill an application form, biodata, an application form, whether it's in a bank or a membership form, it's structured kasi alam mo na you're going to fill in your first name, last name, address, birthday, age, civil status, gender, education history. Alam mo yung data na ipapasok, that's structured. But there's also unstructured data, audio, video, pictures. They actually provide data as well. Yung mga images that we get out of CCTVs, of cameras, those are types of data that the technology is able to analyze right now and provide valuable information and insights to organizations. So again, when we talk of big data, it's not just about structured, but it is also about unstructured data as well. So 4 V's of big data, again, volume, veracity, velocity, variety. Okay. So important din nating malaman yan. Okay, I think we need to go back to Menti for a fill-in-the-blank quiz. The second point that I'd like to make for week 1 is we defined analytics. Okay, so we provided a kind of a standard. We want a standard definition of analytics. So I hope you can fill in this. Correct spelling, guys. Okay. So analytics is defined what? As what? And it's for the what? What is the 2-word? GG. Okay, it's for the greater good. I like that getting grounded answer. Nice. But it's for the greater good. So again, I'm going to repeat this every time. You will be hearing from me a lot of times in SP101. We want analytics to be for the good of society, for the greater good. Okay? Yun naman, that's why we're actually doing this. That's why we've actually created SPARTA. We want to make positive changes for our country and for our fellow Filipinos. Okay? Let's see who is leading so far. So yan, every week at the end of the quiz, we'll see para ma-encourage to answer. Good. Citing. Next. All right. So let's go to some of the questions that I gathered in the registration process for week 1. First question that I got is the data value chain standard 1? Do we have any other models or elements in the chain? How does it affect the chain? So as far as the data value chain, if you're looking at data transforming to information, insights, and to imperatives, that's a pretty standard one. Any organization who is actually doing analytics goes through the transformation of data. What could change is how organizations do each of those components in the value chain. They may have different ways of gathering data from the various data sources and putting it in a single repository. Data scientists may have different procedures and standards in creating and generating insights. There may be different ways of creating dashboards and reports. you will see an application of this, the data value chain, when you take the project management course in Project Sparta. There are certain methodologies on how to implement end-to-end analytics projects. But all of these methodologies still point to the same data value chain, the same way of transforming data into information, insights, and into actions. Okay, so that's pretty standard. What could change, for example, however, though, are roles. Okay, because of the fast changes in technology and additional thought leadership, because also of the increasing complexity of analytics, there might be new analytics families that might be introduced. Case in point, we're looking into, say, machine learning engineers. Again, this might be technical for some, but so apart from the 5 analytics job families, there might be machine learning engineers, which is actually a kind of a hybrid between data scientists and software developers. Okay? So ibang competency, ibang skill set din naman ang binibring ng machine learning engineers. But again, as we progress, as we evolve, if we need to add additional topics in SP101, we're going to do that, and you're going to be informed through conferences such as this. And what is the difference between business analytics versus business intelligence? Simply put, business intelligence is a subset of business analytics. If you review again the entire data value chain, that's analytics as a whole. Business intelligence, review week 1, you'll see business intelligence na doon siya sa information side. Business intelligence or descriptive analytics is analytics that describes what happened. Okay, so para siyang status report. When you create a status report, whether it's in school, for example, or in your companies, okay, diba, you want to know, okay, anong nangyari the previous week? Okay, so you create a status report. That's part of descriptive analytics. That's business intelligence. Okay, so that's one aspect of it. But business analytics is that entire thing, that entire data value chain. Okay, for someone with no experience in analytics, which pathway is the best to take? What path is the most in demand today in the next few years? What are the best ways to start a career in the field of analytics? Okay. So my suggestion is to look at your strengths. So we'll look in this in more detail in week 2. So if you are very good in math and stat, pursue a data scientist pathway. If you're good in programming, software development, databases, mahilig kang magbutingting ng data, okay, go into a data engineering path. If you're more business-minded, alam nyo yung industry ninyo, HR, sales, operations, finance, marketing, supply chain, logistics, functional analyst. If you want to learn pieces of it, and if you find happiness in delivering successful projects, focus on analytics management. Okay? So, play to your strengths. Ganun naman yun eh. There's no one preventing you from learning new things, but always, my suggestion is always to look into your strengths. Okay. What path is the most in demand today in the next few years? Anything. I mean, the 30,000 that we're planning for Project Sparta is actually not enough to satisfy the demand, not only here in the Philippines, but globally as well. Out of the 5, so instead na, I guess, answering the question, which is most in demand, I'll just let you know that in a typical analytics project, for example, mas madaming kailangan na data engineers. That process, that information in the data value chain takes about 75% of the project effort and duration in an end-to-end analytics project. So it's not uncommon that you see an analytics project, probably a 1-year analytics project where you have 10 data engineers in the project. In the same project, you'll see 1 analytics manager, 1 data steward, about 5 functional analysts who really know the business, and about 2 to 4 data scientists. Okay? So, typical composition yon ng isang analytics project. Okay? So yun, I mean, it's not really about probably who's on demand, lahat naman in demand. Pero in a typical analytics project, ganon usually yung distribution ng number. Okay? Again, what are the best ways to start a career in the field of analytics? Play to your strengths. As long as you're curious to know what insights or actions you can get out of data, you're actually already in a very good starting point to start a career in analytics. Okay. Okay, gandang question. Which profession is highest paid by institutions, data scientists or data engineers? Okay, if I'm just going to rely, kasi you can Google this, salaries local. If you're going to just rely on that, data scientists are paid a little bit higher than data engineers. But I guess it's probably because there's just a misconception that data scientists provide more value than the rest. Okay, but that's also something that we'd like to change in the understanding of the various roles. Kasi if you hear data science ngayon, ang concept ng karamihan is data science is that entire analytics, that entire data value chain. There's no differentiation in the roles. But if you actually look into this, pare-pareho naman yung value that each of these roles bring. So hopefully what we'll see is pare-pareho din yung salaries na binibigay sa mga professions na to. For now, again, if you do a Google search, you'll see mas mataas yung bias data, but not much. Okay, can data science bring us abroad for living? Yes, there's actually a lot of demand for data scientists abroad and for all of the other skills as well. But ang hope lang talaga namin is that in Project Sparta is that you build those skills in Project Sparta, through Project Sparta or any other links. But hopefully you can do data science work muna here, for our country. Kasi kailangan talaga natin yun to make our country data driven. But yes, there's a lot of demand also outside in data science and all of the analytics job families. Okay, that's week one. So again, key thing there is the data value chain, the analytics job families, and the definition of analytics. Okay, let's proceed. Analytics competencies and the professional maturity model. As a aspiring analytics professional, this is where we provide you with the list of competencies that you need to build in order for you to succeed in any of those 5 analytics job families. So through a study that we participated in about 4 years ago called APEC Project there, we came up with these 10 competencies. The first 4 are business skills. The next 5 are technical skills. The last one are the 21st century skills. So the 21st century skills are actually the most difficult to learn because you need to really learn that and experience that, from the very start. Medyo mahirap na siyang ituro if you're actually medyo may edad na, di ba? So, and that has to be cultivated and nurtured as the years go by. Okay, let's go back to Menti for, I think, 5 questions. So the question is, I'll be giving you 4 competencies. For each of the job families, I'll be giving you 4 skills, 4 competencies. And you'll have to select which is the most important competency for that job family. So let's start with data steward. Okay, let's go back to Menti. Data stewards need higher proficiency in what? Yes, it's data governance. So data governance covers data security as well as ethical use of data. So yun talaga ang trabaho ng data stewards. Okay, next, data engineers. Siyempre, tinanggal ko yung data engineering kasi napaka-obvious. Pero what's, among the 4, ano mas kailangan dyan ng data engineers to develop?
Methods naman and algorithm.
Okay, so data engineers, it's computing. Okay, remember, data engineer, ang forte nila is information science, information technology, computer science. Kasi programming sila, and computing is programming. Okay? So, yon ang skill na kailangan i-cultivate ng data engineers. Okay, next, data scientists. Saan siya dapat mas mataas? Okay, key skill needed ng data scientist, math and statistics. So definitely, statistical techniques, dun siya kailangan pinakamataas. Next, functional analysts. Ano naman yung forte ng functional analysts? Okay, it's domain knowledge. It's a knowledge about the business. It's knowledge about the industry. Hindi ganong technical ang na skills ang kailangan ng functional analyst. But again, skills in HR, operations, finance, sales, marketing, supply chain, logistics. Yun ang domain knowledge that needs to be developed by functional analysts. Okay, last, analytics managers. Iisa lang dyan ang business skill. Okay, so analytics managers need higher proficiency in operational analytics. When you say operational analytics, this is basically you're operationalizing analytics. So you ensure successful delivery of end-to-end analytics projects. Okay. So let's see. Leaderboard, nagbago na ba? Okay, bago tayong top. Nice. All right. Okay. So in week 2, we are introducing the AAP professional maturity model. So the model talks about 3 levels of proficiency. Entry level, or the beginner level, the mid level, and the expert level. So we'll see here what are the skills that are important for each of the analytics job families. So we note here, steward, importante sa kanya, alam niya yung business skills. So kaya mataas siya dun sa first 4 skills. Data engineers, of course, data engineering and computing. Ang data scientist, kailangan mas nandun siya sa technical side. Functional analyst, nandun siya sa business skills. And then lastly, an analytics manager, ito medyo different naman. Ang analytics manager need to know bits and pieces of the technical skills because he or she won't be able to know what the other job families are actually doing if he or she doesn't know a bit of the skills that they need. So if I am an analytics manager and I have a data scientist and a data engineer, I definitely need to know also paano na-derive yung insights. Okay? For a data engineer, paano niya nakuha yung data from the various sources. Okay? So, use this to create your career paths. Okay, just a question, is anyone else having problems seeing my screen? Baka may lag lang. Okay, I think if check lang natin ang internet connection natin. Usually ganitong oras bumabagal natin ang internet natin. Okay? So this is the AP professional maturity model. Again, depending on your chosen pathway, create a career path for you. So how is this actually being used? Okay. So as practitioners tayo, again, use that to know what pathway and align your strengths to the skills required by the analytics job family. Again, math stat, data science, programming, data engineering, business skills, then the functional analyst. So use that to build skills and create a same learning path also for you. Um, in companies where we have a performance management process, we also use that to assess whether someone is performing well in the organization, and we also use that to promote people in the organization. So my company, for example, Teradata, we created a competency framework that's based on this. Point West, I was part of Point West before. It's a local IT company. We've created competency frameworks for data engineers and data scientists. So we use the competency framework to assess the performance of our employees. It also allows them to know what skills and experience they need to develop and have in order for them to progress their careers in these organizations. Okay, so that's how HR can use the framework. Now, hiring managers can also use the competency framework to improve their job descriptions. So a lot of job postings right now that we see in LinkedIn's Job Street, for example, medyo natatawa lang kasi kami kasi lahat na lang hinihingi nila in one person. While it is not totally impossible to find all of those skills, it's very, very difficult to find all of these skills in one person. So we're also educating hiring managers to say, hey, this is the expectation. If you're looking for a data scientist, this is the expectation. Don't expect them to clean data. If your job description calls for cleaning data, then you're actually looking for a data engineer. So we're asking them to look into improving their job description, their job postings to align with the competency framework. It's a cause of disengagement for employees if they're actually going to be asked to do something different from what their skills are. Okay, so we are also educating hiring managers to do that. Lastly, for educators, for those in the academe, you can also use the framework to know which courses to develop. And depending also on the course that you're offering, if you're going to offer courses in data science, data engineering, or business analysis, then you can use the framework to know what modules or courses you can put into that. So in a specific example, for the Masters in Applied Business Analytics and the Bachelors of Science in Data Science in UANP, we use this framework to create the subjects in those programs. Sparta is a very good example also of how we use the framework to design the courses that are in the pathways. So there are 6 pathways in Sparta right now. There's a data associate pathway because that's really the entry level for all of the roles. But the entire project Sparta was designed using the competency framework. Okay, so these are actually where you can use the framework. Okay. So let's go into some of the questions that I got from the registration process. So aside from APEC project there, so APEC project there again is the project in APEC where we were joined by other countries to define analytics competencies. So are there any other standards that we can adopt for aligning our competencies? Yes. So APEC project there in itself was based on 2 other global standards, one from North America and one for Europe. Okay, so the goal naman talaga ng project there was to create a globally acknowledged competency framework. And the analytics professional maturity model is based on that. Okay, so the professional maturity framework, what we are trying to strive for there is something that is globally accepted. Kasi aligned naman siya with APEC, Europe, and North America. So yes, there are, but what we are promoting in the Philippines is the AAP professional maturity model already. Okay, next. So I'm planning to apply for a job in the field of IT. So how can the functional analyst or HR determine the specific role that they always wanted? Okay, pause muna. So again, as hiring managers, you can use the competency framework to define better the job postings and the job description. Okay, so that's how the functional analyst or HR can use the framework. para alam nila kung ano talaga yung kailangan nila. Now, as an applicant, how will I convince management they have those specific skills? So since we're now talking about the same framework, diba? So if you're looking for data scientists, match mo na ngayon. Do you really have the competencies for data scientists? It's not enough that you show that you've learned this, but you also need to show that you have experience on that. So pag sinabi, okay, we need someone who knows research methods. So with your knowledge of what research methods is all about, then pwede mo nang i-match ngayon. Ito yung kailangan talaga natin. Okay. Lastly, what is your advice to aspiring analytics professionals to succeed in the field of analytics? Develop your knowledge using the competency framework. Gain experience also for the knowledge that you are getting. So, hopefully nga talaga with the competency framework, medyo mapadali na din yung buhay natin lahat. Whether you're a practitioner, whether you're HR doing performance evaluation, or whether you are a hiring manager. Para same language na lang yung pinag-uusapan natin. Okay? So there, that's one of the uses of the framework. What are the best practices to become a good data analyst? So I'm assuming functional analyst. Okay, if you're a functional analyst, again, strive to be more knowledgeable about the business, about the industry, about your domain. Really provide deep expertise in whatever field you want to do. So whether it is HR, operations, finance, marketing, etc. Okay. So, but again, if we're going to talk about it in general, okay, do research a lot. Go beyond Project Sparta to learn more. Within Sparta, take advantage of all of the trainings, but also take advantage also of these online seminars, or when we introduce the hackathons, or the project call that Alan made earlier, do participate in those, because that's where you're going to gain experience. Para hindi lang knowledge yung nagigain nyo, but also the experience as well. What subject topic should the faculty and students start with? So like what we did with UANP and Project Sparta, look at the competency framework, decide what you're going to offer among those 5 families, and then create courses and modules that will allow your students to gain knowledge in those proficiency levels. So I think for every course naman, di ba, merong parang expected outcomes, especially if in the academy we're into outcome-based learning talaga. When you look at the proficiency levels, they are the outcomes that are expected. So you can create those courses with the outcomes in mind already. For an inspiration, again, go to Project Sparta, look at the courses that we're offering for each of the pathway, and definitely you can start from there. By the way, if you need to get more details, recall that in week 2, we actually have a survey in Google form where each of the competencies or the proficiency levels are defined. So use that. You can save that as a PDF, so you can reuse that to create a competency framework for your organization. Will I be at a disadvantage without a formal math or a highly technical background degree? It depends. Okay. So if, again, play to your strengths, look at the competency. If you're aiming for a data science career, definitely you need math and stat. So yes, you might be at a disadvantage without a formal degree in math or stat if you want to become a data scientist. If you want to be a data engineer, yes, you might be at disadvantage if you don't have a technical background degree. It doesn't mean that you cannot learn math and stat, although actually sa totoo lang, medyo mahirap pag-aralan ng math and stat outside of the academy. But no, it's possible, for you to learn that. So again, play to your strengths. But if you are really pursugido to, say, data science, then you need to really have to show your love for math and stat for you to be a successful data scientist. And for the other roles as well. Okay? Let's see. Can data scientists also act as data analysts, since the course offered to data analysts are taken in data science? So yes, So recall that one of the key competencies that data scientists need to have is also business domain. So it's actually a key important competency ng data scientist. Case in point, lang natin ngayon with the COVID-19 situation, you'd probably see, I mean, if you go to the AAP Facebook page, in SPARTA web page, or even the data ethics PH web page, you'll see a lot of discussions there, di ba? A lot of data scientists are creating so many visualizations, predictions, kailan mo flatten and curve, kailan matatapos ang ECQ. But a vast majority of those data scientists actually don't have the domain knowledge in diseases, in healthcare, or even in epidemiology, di ba? So sometimes the insights that they're generating, mali na kasi they don't have the domain knowledge. So domain knowledge, which is the key skill of data analyst, is also a key skill ng data scientist to learn because the insights that you need to generate should be aligned also with the data analysts. Okay, but yes, if a data scientist would really deepen his or her skills in domain, then yes, he or she can also perform the role of data analysts. How does the career pathways advance? If I am a data scientist and I want to advance my career, does it mean my next step is to become an analytics manager? Not necessarily. So you can advance your career horizontal, meaning you can move from one role to another. So there's a career path for, say, data engineers, data scientists to become analytics managers. But there's also a vertical career path where you can actually deepen your skills in a particular job family. So recall that the proficiency levels ranges from level 1, 2, and 3. So in companies such as Teradata and PointQuest, where we use that is that at the very start for mga grad hires, they're just at level 1 muna. But they can actually be data scientists forever in that organization. So they will start as junior data scientists, but as they progress their data science proficiency, they can end up as principal data scientist, lead data scientist, or chief data scientist. So there's a pathway that is provided by the competency framework for you to to pursue a career vertically along the job family, or you can actually move from to being an analytics manager. There are some people kasi who are really, gusto talaga nila math and stats, so focus sila on data scientists. But companies should not limit their growth kung gusto lang talaga is data science. But of course, the expectations goes higher as you advance your career, and that is shown in the competency framework. Okay, so will I be able, will I be able to develop the needed competencies to the pathways I was aiming at in a span of a year and through virtual assessments? What can I do to supplement the lectures for retention since there are new information? Okay, so basically the question here, if kaya ko sinama dito is learning through online courses enough for you to actually gain the knowledge and experience to become an effective analytics professional? The answer is no. Okay. This is not enough. It's a very good start, but you need to branch out. We admit naman, even in the courses that we have here in Sparta, it's very limited din naman on what we can teach. So you need to go out there. What I actually appreciate are the questions that I receive in course bank, where people would go out, do research saying that, sir, I saw this article, say in the Harvard Business Review or in LinkedIn, saying this, and this, na medyo different from what I learned in SP101. Can I care to comment on that? Those are the questions that I like. Kasi nadadagdagan not only your knowledge, but also my knowledge as well. There are things that I might disagree with what you found online, and that's good. I mean, we learn both ways from that. But definitely, you need to go out of the online platform. Okay, hindi natin makakaya to in just a year, and that's why again in Sparta we have these hackathons, we have these projects that you can do with your LGUs para ma-apply nyo din yung mga courses, yung mga learnings that you do, because you really need to show application of all of these knowledge. Okay, so go out SPO 101, do readings, do researches, do go to Coursera, go to Udemy, go to LinkedIn Learning, find additional free learnings there. And then go back to Course Bank, SP101. For most of you, naman that I respond to those questions. And I love, getting those questions from you. And I'll be happy to answer them. And questions. Okay, what would be the most beneficial in analytics side, NBR and MIT? So I guess it's a question for those who want to pursue further studies. Again, depends on what you want to pursue. There are masters in data science offered by AIM, Mapua, UP. There's a master's in data engineering offered by Ateneo. There's a master's in business analytics for projects, so for analytics managers offered by UANP. So again, depending on your role, you have, one isn't valuable over the other. Everyone is valuable. If you want to pursue postgraduate studies, then you can select any of these courses to take your master's degree. Okay. Oh, dami haba. Sorry. Okay, that's week 2. That's where we actually introduce competency framework. A lot of uses. So apart from us as practitioners, we also encourage HR hiring managers and educators, to use a competency framework so that we can all speak the same language when it comes to analytic skills. Okay, let's go to week 3, Delta model and the organizational maturity model. So hopefully, for those who at least have finished week 3, you will recall what delta is. So that's the 5 questions in the quiz. So this is a fill in the blanks. So right spelling is required. So let's start. Hopefully, natandaan niyo what delta is. Automenti again. So integrated, high quality, easily accessible. D. What is D? Correct answer is data. So that's the first component. Integrated, high quality, easily accessible data. So these are the components in our organization that we are assessing to know the maturity of an organization. Next, so what is E? Recall what is E? In the Delta model, managing analytics resources in a coordinated fashion across the enterprise. So again, we want to build an enterprise-wide data-driven culture. That's enterprise. Next, this L. Who do we need in an organization who is committed to understand the importance of analytics? Okay, correct answers. Leadership, we're going to accept leaders and leader as well as correct answers. But yes, we definitely need a champion in the organization who will be supportive of our analytics initiatives. Okay. So what is T in Delta? Not the T in the not the T in the plus. It is T in Delta. These are the goals of the organization, the objectives. Yes, targets. So we're going to accept target or targets. Okay. Again, these are the goals of an organization. They should be aligned. They should be data-driven targets as well. Last, what is A? Ito medyo mahaba, 2 words. nurturing high-performing AP. Sa spelling magkakatalo to. Okay, analytics professionals, professional, analytics practitioner, practitioners. Okay, so we definitely need the people to be in there as well. Okay, let's see. Current leaderboard natin. Oh, bago na. Okay, kaya pa yan. So we're at week 3, the week 3 quiz. Okay, so these are the 7 components of the Delta Plus model. So these are the things that we assess in any organization so that we can determine whether they are mature enough in their analytics process. So it started with just the Delta, Data Enterprise Leadership Targets Analytics Professionals. But with the changes in technologies, the advancement in technologies, and the way that we analyze data, proponents of the model also added the types of technology and the analytical techniques that can be used by an organization. So the organizational maturity model looks into those 7 components, scores them, and puts a grade of 1 to 5. Again, for those who have completed at least week 3, you will already see the organizational maturity model. So ano yung 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in all of those 7 components. So for an organization that is not doing anything at all with the data, obviously they're analytically impaired. If there are pockets of analytics being done, may isang business unit or department in the company doing analytics, pero hindi pa buo, that's localized analytics. Okay. The third is when a company or an organization takes all of those pockets of analytics initiatives and try to bring consistency sa lahat ng analytic initiatives na yon, then the company is starting to aspire to become an analytical organization. So they're level 3. Okay? When they have achieved that, when they have consolidated all of their analytical initiatives, they are now considered an analytical company or an analytical organization. So they're using the power of data and analytics to make business decisions. At this point in time, yung targets nila talaga are data-driven already. Most companies can opt to be at stage 4 only. Okay na yun kasi they're getting naman the benefits of the data. But if they want to be a leader in their industry and they want to use data as a competitive advantage for their competitors in their industry, then they need to achieve level 5, which is being an analytical competitor. So that's the highest level that an organization can achieve, as far as analytics maturity is concerned. So one of the questions that I always get is, where do we actually use this? So in 2016, the International Institute of Analytics, surveyed 50 industry-leading companies para lang makita asa na ba talaga yung analytics maturity ng mga organizations based on an industry level. So this is done for companies, mostly global companies. Okay? In the Philippines, we haven't really started doing this, but we're starting to do that. So the survey that you're taking in week 3, that actually is helping us to baseline ano ba yung perception natin sa maturity ng mga industries natin. So I'm actually grateful for those who have participated in those survey because at least magkakaroon tayo ng similar studies in the industry. This study naman that I'm showing you right now, hindi naman kaanong nalalayo with what we're seeing also in the Philippines. We're seeing a lot of banks, financial services, retail, and actually telco. Medyo ito surprising ang telco mababa. In the Philippines, medyo mataas na ang telco sa analytics maturity. Airlines actually, surprisingly medyo nasa gitna, tama yan, mataas din yung maturity. What is common globally, and which is medyo sad, is yung healthcare industry. And actually the education industry. palaging na sila nandun sa dulo. Somehow, yung paggamit nila ng data is still not sufficient for them, for members of the healthcare and the education industry to be really called analytically mature. Okay? So hopefully we will be releasing a similar study for the Philippines naman in this. Okay? So questions. So I guess this is pertaining to technology. So what kind of software programming languages are needed? It depends. If you're into the information, so a lot of SQL, databases, extract, transform, load technologies, you're going to use Excel. For some of you are taking 201 already. I mean, Excel is a good programming or software for data science. Data science, R, Python. So some of these programming languages you'll also be learning as part of your pathway in SPARTA. How do you organize or create a data analytics team in an organization? So start off, start muna, and I think we discussed this in week 4 also. The suggestion is start with a very strong functional analyst who knows the business, who knows the domain, who knows the company very well. And then partner him or her with a very good data scientist. Between the two of them, you'll be able to kickstart an analytics project. A third role that is very important, like we mentioned kanina, is a strong leader, a committed leader who will champion your cause. Because even if you have very good data functional analyst or a data scientist, if no one is going to support you and be your voice in the bosses, di ba? Then you'll not be able to progress your career. Okay. Do you need to hire? So there was a question kind of, do you need to hire everyone in the analytics job families in your companies? No. Again, I guess minimum strong in domain and strong in data science. The others you can actually outsource. Okay, so there are outsourcing companies, IT companies that do data engineering, building those single data repositories for you. Because once they're done, your functional analyst and your data scientist can generate insights already. As long as continuous yung flow ng data and maayos yung pagkakagawa ng data repositories, then the data engineering work can stop and then the data science and the functional analyst can proceed. Okay, so you don't need to hire everyone in your organization, like actually outsource. And once you're done, you can operationalize your analytics. Can you cite some local businesses, organizations that are analytically mature? Yes, I can, but I won't. There are some consulting companies here in the company who actually do this as service for companies, local companies. Unfortunately, they're kind of protected with NDAs. Okay, so they're also protective also on their maturity assessment because it reflects on their brand as well. But as I've said, there are companies in the financial services, banking, retail, telco, actually airlines, who are well enough into being analytically mature also. Now, one of the things that you can, measure, and I think I answered this in one of the questions sa course bank, is how would we know talaga, as a customer, if an organization that serves me is analytically mature? Sa lang tanong dyan, are you happy with the service of that organization? If not, then they're not analytically mature. Yun lang kasimple. Yun. Because again, the goal of any company is really to improve the lives of customers. Diba? You see that later in week 5. That's true for the academe. If your students are not happy, then you might need to look into how to use data more and be more analytically mature. So every one of us are customers. Same time, everyone could also be analytics or insights provider. So we need to ensure lang that the customers of our data insights will be happy. Do we have a governing and certifying body that helps assess the organization maturity of different industries in the Philippines? There is none yet. Again, there are some consulting companies who provide this as service, but the Analytics Association of the Philippines is striving to be that governing body who can tell the maturity. So we are actually in the process of doing that research. like what the International Institute of Analytics has done, para we can get a very good picture of maturity in the Philippines. Okay, so that's week 3. Medyo time check lang. We might extend beyond 2:30, so hopefully you can stay. This is recorded naman, so you can watch this later on. So week 4 is about the organizational strategy roadmap for analytics. This is one of actually the course that we really enjoyed doing. For those who are done with week 4, hopefully you can remember this team, an all-female team. May nag-comment, bakit daw puro ladies? Wala lang kasi yun lang available na. Yun na joke. But yeah, so we kind of put together all of the learnings from week 1, 2, and 3, and then show you how an analytics project is done end to end. So medyo masaya naman kami sa nagawa. Siguro next time gagawin na naming animated. I've actually asked the project SPARTA team, pwede bang actors, live actors? So next time, next iteration. Okay. So let's do some, I think, true or false questions. So let's go back to menti.com. True or false naman natin questions. Okay. Do that. So analytics projects should be aligned to the organization's vision and mission for the leadership team to see the value in them. True or false? Excellent. Everyone got it correctly. So before you actually start a project, an analytics project, make sure that the objectives of your project, the objectives are aligned to your company's objectives as well. Kung hindi papansinin yan ng leadership team. Next. True or false again? For an organization to realize the full potential of analytics, it should be driven by IT. Nope, it's false. And this is one of the essay questions actually ng week 4. And for those hindi pa nakuha ng week 4, yan, one of the questions. Analytics should be driven by the business. And IT is just an enabler of analytics, pero they shouldn't be calling the shots. Kasi dapat, again, align yung objectives ng project with the objectives of the business. So analytics should be driven by the business. Next. True or false again? You need people in all roles to kickstart your analytics projects. True or false? So kailangan niyo ba yung 5 na yon to kickstart your projects? Feeling ko nako-confuse lang kayo. Kasi hating-hati sa gitna. Okay. So no. Okay, so as we say, if you want to jumpstart or kickstart your analytics project, you need muna a very good functional analyst and a very good data scientist. Once you are done with that, you've shown the value of your project, then you can involve other roles and build your larger team. You can start first muna, the functional analyst and a data scientist. I think last question for this week. You need a leader who will champion building a data-driven culture in your organization. Definitely yes. So again, you won't be able to progress kahit na sobrang passionate kayo, but if your leaders are not equally passionate, then actually umalis na kayo sa company na yun, okay? Masasayang lang yung skills niyo. There was actually a question in one of the conference where I asked, so what should I do if my bosses, even if I made my presentations and I proved the value of analytics, ay pa rin niyang i-champion yung project namin. Sabi ko, get out of that organization. Okay? So you definitely need a leader kasi you need to I mean, sa kanila din naman magagaling ng funding, di ba? So you need to really have someone who can champion the analytics initiatives in your organization. Okay. So, updated lang natin ang leaderboard natin. Okay, cool. Next. So, in week 4, while I did actually show this, kind of discuss this as well, if you want to encourage your organizations, okay, whether you're in the academe, the public sector, or the private sector, this is a suggested roadmap for you to follow. So, of course, I mean, if you're in stage 1, you want to kickstart, you're in stage 1, analytically impaired. There are 2 paths that you can take. If you have very strong leadership sponsorship already, then you can go to the full steam ahead, the one on the left path. Okay? Diretso na because you have committed leadership already. If kailangang kumbinsihin yung leadership team, yung executives, then go to the prove it path. Okay? This is where you create a proof of concept, a proof of value that analytics is going to work. So you select a business unit or a department in your organization to test out analytics. But again, make sure na yung analytics that you're going to try out nakadirekta pa rin sa objectives ng organization, even if it's for just a business unit. You need to be very successful in this. Okay? Kasi kung hindi kayo magiging successful, you go to that red box. It's a terminal stage. Hindi maniniwala sa inyo yung leadership team that analytics will provide value. So that is very critical. If you are successful, if and when you are successful, from stage 2, pwede na kayong pumunta doon sa stage 3, 4, and 5. So in week 4, we discussed that. Di ba parang even if the head of marketing is champions that, it shows an example of how you create a proof of concept muna before you actually operationalize your analytics. So again, if you don't have strong committed leadership, punta muna kayo, do a very, very good proof of concept, proof of value, and then convince your leadership that this is the way to go. Parang in-answer ko na yata isang essay question. Okay, let's go to the questions. Can a single person do multiple analytics role for an organization? Yes, a single person can do multiple analytics role for an organization. The question is it recommended? Definitely no. If you look at, again, the data value chain, each of the analytics job families has a specific role. You can have all the skills to perform all of these roles, pero one thing that is needed to be done is the validation of the work. A data scientist should validate, a functional analyst should be able to validate the work of a data scientist. Tama nga ba yung insights na generate? A data steward should be able to validate yung work na ginawa ng data engineer. Secure ba yung data? Lahat ba ng sensitive data naka-mask? Okay? Someone has to validate the work of others. If only one person is doing that, you won't be able to validate that, di ba? You won't be able to say whether that person is doing the right thing or not. So utilize all of the job families, utilize all of the skills. Yes, a single person can do it, but the recommendation is that you have different people for the different roles. What are the possible applications? Okay, so the next, I think, 3 questions is talking about saan yung applications nung analytics. Okay, so in all of these questions kasi, and I do find a lot of questions also. Paano daw siya na-apply? Bago lang siya sa analytics. Truthfully, walang bago sa atin sa analytics. Even if you're a student, kahit kung bata pa tayo, yung maximizing yung allowance na binibigay sa akin ng parents ko. That is using analytics. What's the best way to go to the office kasi may meeting ako and the current commute will take 5 hours? That's analytics already. If you always start with a question, okay? And then if there is data that can help you answer the question, then you're doing analytics already. Okay? So, possible sa government agencies. COVID-19 pa lang sa nakikita natin ngayon. If you look at the positive test cases, the number of recoveries, the number of deaths, that could also help us tell, okay, are we going to end the quarantine already or not? Outside of that, actually, before the lockdowns, we were working with UNP was working with Pasig City to use analytics for improving their distribution of healthcare, improve garbage collection, improve the traffic situation. So, ang daming pwedeng magawa with the government agencies. If you feel that in a particular day, ang dami-daming nakikita nating applications, for example, driver's license, car registration sa LTO, then look at historical patterns. Parang talaga bang mas maraming nag-a-apply sa umaga kaysa sa gabi? If that's the case, then put more people during the morning and then less people in the afternoon. So those are the types of questions that you have that you can answer in data. Okay. Next, ito naman, in the field of engineering and maintenance. So probably the one who posted this question, may mga equipments sila that you want to monitor. Okay. So there in analytics actually, gamit na gamit yan that there's an analytic solution actually for predictive asset optimization and preventive maintenance also. So yung mga ganitong analytic solutions na ginagawa nila is that they predict kailan potentially masira ang isang equipment. Okay? Pag alam nila kung kailan masisira ang isang equipment, they will already do some preventive measures para i-maintain na kaagad nila before pang masira yung isang equipment. Same is true for vehicles. If you know gaano ka gamit ang isang transportation vehicle, especially for supply chain and logistics, alam natin o kailangan natin ng mas frequent na car maintenance for our vehicles. For project management, for those who are doing status reporting, so dapat, on a weekly basis, if you're doing status reporting, alam nyo na, nade-delay yung project natin. Ano yung cause? We do root cause analysis, diba? So what can we do to prevent further delays? That's already analytics. So when we measure things, when we keep track of key performance indicators, yung mga KPIs sa tinatawag, we're already doing analytics. So that's kind of an application in maintenance, project management. Okay, this question I'm passionate about as an educator myself. How should I best use analytics in the education sector? Medyo dito ako nagugulat kasi actually in the Philippines specifically, pinaka-important, one of the more important industries where we need to apply analytics is the education sector. Okay? Kasi dito nahuhone yung skills nung next generation of Filipinos. So there's a lot. Again, ask questions. Why do students fail? How do we ensure na papasa sila sa mga lessons natin? Even checking, do we have enough classrooms for all of the enrollees? Do we have enough equipment? Do we have enough facilities? Do we have enough teachers? Diba? Questions yun that you can actually answer with historical data. So for example, if you have enough historical data for a student in your school, then you would know dito siya nahihirapan. Then maybe we can adjust some our learning styles para matulungan talaga yung students. At the heart of every educator naman talaga, ang gusto naman talaga nila is matulungan yung mga students. Okay? So regardless kung anong level yan ng education, kung nasan ka in the Philippines, yun naman talaga yung gusto ng bawat educator. So ask those questions, gather all of those data, and then start doing analytics. Simple muna analytics that you can do. So hopefully for those in the education sector taking Project SPARTA, and there's actually a lot. Just go through the courses. Unfortunately, medyo hindi pa available yung SAM, but for courses such as R or Python, where you can start, playing around with your data. I think there are free courses also in Coursera, Udemy. Hopefully soon in Project SPARTA, we can do that. You can use those data, even play with those data in Excel or in spreadsheets, diba? So you can do some initial analysis, but definitely we can use a lot of analytics in the education sector. So yeah, sorry, medyo time check. I know that I think we've announced it's only for 1.5, so it's 2:33. We're going to try to wrap these things up. But for those who can stay, stay. For those naman who can't, we'll be posting the recordings of these sessions. Talaga. Okay. What are the challenges of having data privacy policies in the organizations? What are the advantages and disadvantages of data privacy laws in analytics center organization? So we're everywhere in the world there are now data privacy policies. Just look at this not as a disadvantage but a better way to serve your customers kasi data privacy talaga is important. I don't want to call them workarounds kasi parang sinasabi we're circumventing the law. But there are ways that you can mask or hide sensitive personal data so that any other person who's not supposed to know that won't really identify kung sino yung sinasabi ng data na yun. So this is where actually the data stewards would really play a very, very important role. So they need to really enforce data privacy policies. How do you show that data is being used ethically by an organ? Okay. One is you have data privacy laws. Data stewards would really have to make sure that all sensitive personal information are kept secret and parang on a need to know basis lang. They need to be asking talaga the questions, why do you need this data? Why do you need this piece of information? Para saan ba siya? At the end of it, it's always for the improving the customers' lives. If it's not going to help an organization or your customers, or if you're going to create biases that you're going to favor one set of people with another set of people, then you're not using your data in an ethical way. Okay, so week 5, we're talking about analytics for the people and the analytics ecosystem of the Philippines. I mean, again, one of the reasons why the Analytics Association is there and why we've helped develop Project Sparta is we want to really make the Philippines data-driven. Okay, let's go to Menti again. Some true or false nga ba to? I think yes. True or false questions. There's a few questions here. So analytics is key to digital transformation, and digital transformation is all about technology. True or false? Ooh. Nope. Digital transformation is all about the people. People first, technology second. Okay. Next question. To succeed, organization must excel in all of these three: operational excellence, customer intimacy, and product leadership. Okay, it's false. So again, I'm not going to elaborate here. Review the video of Dr. Jeannie Ross in week 5. What she's saying is that an organization must select one of these three and be excellent in that, be a market leader in that, and then work on being excellent on the other two. Medyo may conflicting objectives kasi ang bawat strategy na to. So you need to be excellent in one first and then strive excellence for the other two. Okay? So hindi pwedeng sabay-sabay. Mahirap yan for an organization. Last question for this week. Okay, in the digital age, parang sinagot ko na to. What is our vision for improving the lives of our customers? Is that the first question that we must ask? So yes, palagi, greater good of society, for the good of society, lives of our customers. Yan palaging kailangan nating itanong. Okay? So current leaderboard, nagbago na ba? Oops. Yes, nagbabago-bago na. Okay. So this is the analytics ecosystem of the Philippines. This is what the AAP is working at. We are bringing together practitioners, service providers, academe, and the government to help organizations, LGUs, to develop smart cities. Okay, so we're educating all of this. So we have initiatives to educate all of these members of TD ecosystem to make our country more data driven. So I've been asked, there was a question posted kanina in the Corps Bank. Okay, where are we, as a country in this digital evolution? So you can actually do a Google search on Digital Evolution Index 2017, and it will bring you to a Harvard Business Review study. The x-axis is basically the rate of change. How fast is digital evolution happening? And then the vertical one is a score given during the research. So the good news is that we are in the right place right now. So we are in the breakout quadrant. Okay, so nandun tayo sa high rate of change in digital evolution, although mababa yung score natin. What we want to be, where we want to be in would be the standout. So actually, if you look at that, nandun na yung mga neighbors natin. Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia is there na. So Vietnam is actually mas mataas pa sa atin sa digital evolution score. So as far as sabi natin with our neighbors are concerned, medyo lagging behind, but at least na-acknowledge na mabilis din naman tayong gumalaw. So hopefully mas mabilis pa because we really want to go into that standout quadrant. Again, for more details, I'll be posting this in Course Bank, the link, but kung gusto nyo mabasa, just do a Google search on Digital Evolution Index. Okay. So questions. What are the digital capabilities? So in digital transformation, we talk about several digital capabilities such as Internet of Things, mobile mobility, autonomous vehicles, yung mga self-driving, nanotechnology that's helping in healthcare. So these are the sample technologies, digital capabilities in the digital era. And analytics is enabling all of them because all of them need data to begin with. Okay. So why are data science courses not yet offered in all Philippine universities? Okay, so this is there are already a lot of discussions happening with the Commission on Higher Education. Majority of the universities cannot really progress even if they wanted to because they need some guidance from the Commission on Higher Education. That is already being in place. Okay. Hopefully everyone can still see my screen. There are some universities already who are what they call it, I think the regulated status, so are already offering them. But yes, this is an ongoing discussion with the Commission on Higher Education. This is a question naman on senior high school. Okay, so we definitely want this to be part of the senior high school curriculum. We are hoping also, so there are discussions also with DepEd naman kasi we need to really bring down all of these learning. So the math and the stat, we need to have deeper trainings on those. The 21st century skills, those are very important. You need to learn them very early on. So we're also not only senior high school but even in grade school also we're looking into that. So there are initiatives by various corporations, especially with STEM, to include subjects that will put analytics as part of the curricula. But again, for educators who want to start, again, just draw inspiration from the pathways of SPARTA, and you can design curriculum for those. How long has SP101 been going on? It started January 2017. We have about 13,000 learners already. So we're almost halfway through the target of 30,000. Will there be any changes? If there are, we are going to update the course. But for those who have completed, we will be scheduling conferences such as this so that you don't need to take SP101 anymore. Is there an additional follow-up course after SPO1? So succeeding courses in the pathway that will definitely deepen your understanding about analytics. Pero kung yung question is nami-miss nyo na ba ako, I have another course that I'll be teaching, and I think that's development of data products. So hopefully after the lockdown, we'll be able to start producing the course, the videos for that. Okay, last set of questions. Okay, so ang dami actually naming nakukuhang questions on this. But actually, ang suggestion ko for everyone, just read through the FAQs kasi nandun din naman to. So instead of me asking or you asking us this question, sige nga, let us test some of your course bank knowledge. So multiple choice question to. So let's start with very famous question. When will you get your certificate? Immediately after? You need to wait for 48 hours? Or since honors course siya, you won't be getting a certificate? At least 27 got it right. So yes, you need to wait for 48 hours after completing a course, making sure that all of your courses have a green mark in your progress bar. If it goes beyond 48 hours, then yes, you can ask or send email to learn@coursebank.page or post a question in the discussion board if you still don't get your certificate. Next question. Why does your assignment take long to be graded? So for the essays and for the capstone in the other courses, why does it take long to be graded? Because the courses are self-paced, because there are too many SS and only the SME grades them, kasi hindi nyo patapos na yung lessons. So it takes too long because the courses are self-paced. So your assignments are peer graded. So and yung peers din natin, of course, they're in self-paced. So you have to wait for at least two of your peers to grade your essays or your capstone. Okay. There's also, I mean, I've noticed some who actually finished SP101 in one day. So that's not the intent naman talaga of Sparta. We want for you to learn and absorb all of those learnings, and you won't be able to do that in one day. Kaya din naman we separated the modules in 2 weeks. Okay? Kaya may 5 weeks tayo of Sparta because we want for you to absorb muna before you go on to the next module. But why do we actually do peer-graded assignments? That's actually the next question. So what do you think is the answer? Yes, correct. It's all of the above. So yes, we could have done objective multiple choice questions, true or false questions, but it doesn't really going to show what you're going to learn. So we want you also to apply your learning. Hindi naman din, for SP101, I can't give you a capstone, di ba? So essays would be the best way for you to show it. Other thing is that when you develop your skills and you really become an analytics professional, inevitably you will have to present your work to other analytics professionals. So if you are attending, for example, meetups ng AAP, the R Users Group, Data Ethics PH, you'll see some people who's going to make presentations. And then there are some people who are going to ask questions. Okay, so you need to get used to that. Presenting something and then providing constructive feedback to others. Okay, so you need to. We also need to learn to develop communication and critical thinking skills. Lastly, I cannot check 30,000 as I can, but it's going to probably take months. So kung naiinip na kayo na a few hours, di pa na-check. Lalo na if I'm going to be left alone doing all of the checking. Okay. So what can you do actually if you want to ask for reconsideration on your essays or in your quizzes? Again, this is in the FAQ. So we're receiving these questions, but again, these are on the FAQ already. So yes, so if you want to have your assignments be reconsidered for a higher grade or for a passing grade, yes, send an email to learn@coursebank.ph. I do receive naman, although at least for SP101, I think mga 10, 15 pa lang naman ang re-receive kong essays for grading. I don't pass them all kasi I'm also also with the essays that you submit. So there are some cases also na mas mababa pa yung binigay ko. But I also give those learners opportunity to answer another question for so that we can reconsider your essays. So yeah, if even if you made if you even if you failed, the quizzes or the essays, and you want to get a passing grade, just it's okay. Just send an email to learn@coursebank.ph. But also, I mean, there are some who really want to perfect naman to get perfect scores. I mean, well, okay lang din. Pero I mean, it's up to you. Basta ang minimum lang for passing, I think any of the courses, 70% on all of the assessments that we have. Okay. Okay, so I think there are some questions now that are coming in. How can I use my certificate in other purposes? So actually, you can go into the link that Ingrid provided. There was a question already on this. So the answer was Project Sparta will be aligned and eventually institutionalized by the Academy through key new offerings such as certification courses for public administrators involving data, research and development initiatives. Meantime, an honor certificate will be issued upon course completion, while a certificate of completion will be given once a learning track is finished. So the DAP is also exploring the certification or accreditation for the courses from recognized institutions like the PRC. Okay, so that's where you can actually use the certificates that you're getting. After Sparta, what will our status be? DAP yan, DBM, graduate of DAP or having national certification. So similar to that, so you'll have a certificate of completion. And again, DAP is working to make those certifications accredited by some recognized institutions. Okay, so let's see. Sorry. Are the pathways independent, standalone, or needed po to have a knowledge or experience from other pathways? No. So again, just focus muna on the pathway that you want to develop. And actually, as you see, there are some courses that are available across pathways. If in the future you want to explore other pathways, then once you completed the course, then it's credited already to you. So you're just going to have to take all of the other courses that you did not take from the previous pathway. Okay. So yes, you can do that. But the suggestion is finish muna one pathway before you proceed with the next. How to retake in week 4? So answer that question, send an email to learn@coursebank.ph. How can I be part of the data value chain? You just start learning, di ba? Again, select among those 5 anong gusto mong i-pursue. Then create create a career path for you, a learning guide using the competency framework. Then select the pathway that you would like to take, and start your learnings through Project Sparta. Sorry. Why is the data value chain structured to be a cyclical one? Very good question, and this was also posted in CourseBank. It is cyclical because analytics never end. There's always an improvement process. One piece of data will provide you one set of insight and one set of actions to improve your organization. But those actions will result in new set of data. So you need to go to another cycle to analyze those new set of data. It's never ending. Kaya siya cyclical one. and definitely you'll have more questions. As you answer questions with the insights and the actions, you'll get more questions again. So you'll have to go through another cycle. With this current COVID-19 challenge or after this challenge, how can we exercise and practice the skills? So take advantage of the programs outside of the platform. So as Alan mentioned, there are programs with the LGUs. There's also going to be hackathons that's going to be in place. Yung nga lang medyo na delay because of this, but definitely you have opportunities to exercise and practice your skills. There are also hackathons that are being done by other local organizations. Go to Facebook, search Data Ethics PH or Analytics Association of the Philippines. We provide hackathons also where you can actually practice your skills as well. Can educational institutions in the country adopt or integrate data science in the curricula? Yes, definitely. So again, there are discussions with CHED already. You can actually talk with other institutions who are doing that. UANP, for example, UP has Bachelors of Science in Data Science. You can start adopting that. If you are in a deregulated status, for example, again, look into how Project SPARTA did it. Curricula similar to Project SPARTA. Can data scientists act as functional analysts? So we've answered this already. So I'm going to go fast. It's 5 minutes. In the AAP model, all job families should have a proficiency level of 3 for operational analytics. Well, not all. Medyo may 2, may 3. It's because all of those job families need to know, operational analytics lang pala you're talking about. Yes, because operational analytics talks about knowing yung data value chain na yon and what are each of the job families are doing. It's basically an understanding of the end-to-end analytics project and knowing what your place there. Yun lang naman ibig sabihin din ng operational analytics. That's why it's a level 3 across all of those job families. Can AAP propose a curriculum? Yes, that's what we're doing. Thank you. Sige, wala na akong hugot. Ayoko nang humugot. I'm an architect. What career path can you suggest, especially in solving urban problems? Okay, actually ito maganda. We're actually doing this in Pasig City. Urban planning, choke point kasi ang Pasig City as we all know. At least most of us know. So very high level, as an architect, you just need to know yung data, information, ano ba talaga yung dumadaan in a location, ano yung mga skills in that particular location ng mga constituents. Kasi what you can do is really plan for a specific skill or competency or a service to be built in a particular city and let other cities do other services as well. So parang ganun ang tinitingnan namin with Pasig. Okay. Medyo short lang yung answer pero habang usapan ng urban planning. Yes, thank you. I'm an IT enterprise reporting lead, want to become an analytics manager soon. Currently doing whole cycle, but I'm not expected. So look at the competency framework, do a checkbox, do a self-assessment. In week 3, there's a survey, make a self-assessment, and match it with the expected proficiency levels of the analytics managers. Most of them, level 3 naman on the business, level 1 on the technical side. So just know ano yung expectations sa'yo for each of those proficiency levels. Send an email to learn@coursebank. Yes. Testing lang malamang yun. So far, that's good. Okay. Until lang. Send an email to learn@coursebank.ph to want to correct your name. Yay, thank you. We answer naman. Just send an email. Hindi siya hindi naman ganun kalaking effort. An actual certificate, save the trees. So digital na tayo ngayon. So, mas okay na everything is digital. So, download it na lang. But we'll let our Project Sparta team answer that. Okay, the trees. If I'm not mistaken, yes. So talagang dinesign lahat ng courses sa Sparta as 5 weeks. For as long as may mga tao na hindi sumusunod sa regulations, hindi ito matatapos. Yun lang ang hugot ko dyan. Yes, you can apply for another pathway once you're done with another one. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay, so there are other questions. Well, actually, there's a live questions. Wala akong nakitang nadagdag. But if there are, we'll be answering them, posting those questions in Course Bank, in Facebook, so that we can, keep on answering them. But again, the recording is available. Again, these are the 3 objectives. Hopefully, we've tackled that. This is the final leaderboard. This is our final top 10. If you are in the top 10, please do a screenshot of your phone, take a picture of this so that we know you are really that, and email the screenshot to learn@coursebank.ph. Congratulations to Topper. If you're top 10, screenshot, send an email to learn@coursebank.ph, and we'll find a way to recognize naman your participation in our quizzes. Okay? With that, thank you everyone. Thank you very much for joining. May the fourth, mag-ispak yata ako, may the fourth be with you, and hopefully matapos na yung ating lockdown. Stay safe, stay healthy everyone. Thank you.